A stranger arrived in town. His appearance was striking, sharp features, eyes that seemed to gleam with an inner fire, and a smile that was both charming and unsettling. He introduced himself as Shane, a traveler seeking refuge and new beginnings. Shane quickly ingratiated himself with the townsfolk. He had a way with words that could soothe the most troubled soul, and his stories of distant lands captivated everyone. It wasn't long before he was invited into their homes and their hearts. But beneath his charismatic exterior, Shane harbored a sinister secret. As weeks passed, subtle changes began to ripple through the town. People who once shared everything with each other started to grow suspicious and envious. Petty arguments turned into bitter feuds, and long-standing friendships fractured. The crops, once bountiful, began to wither, and livestock fell ill without explanation. One night, as the town lay shrouded in an eerie silence, Shane visited the home of Martha, a kind-hearted widow known for her generosity. She allowed Shane to spend the night. He whispered promises of wealth, power, and could live a long life in exchange for her soul. Desperate and vulnerable, Martha agreed, not realizing the true cost of her decision. The next morning, the townspeople awoke to find Martha's home in ruins, her belongings scattered and her spirit broken. Shane lied to Martha. Rumors spread like wildfire, each more vicious than the last. The once tight-knit community was unraveling, and Shane watched from the shadows, his smile never faltering. The town's priest, Father Thomas, sensed a demonic presence. He had noticed Shane's influence and the darkness that followed him. Determined to save his flock, as Father Thomas confronted Shane in the town square, he noticed his eyes turned red when spoken to. Father Thomas demanded that he leave and never return. Shane's eyes flashed with anger, and for a moment, his charming facade slipped, revealing the true horror beneath. "You think you can stop me, old man," he sneered. "I am the devil. I am here to destroy this town. I will never leave."
Totale destruction érupted.
Buildings were set ablaze, and people turned on each other with a ferocity they never knew they possessed. Amid the pandemonium, Father Thomas fell to his knees, praying for deliverance. As the days passed, there was even more destruction. There were tornadoes every day. People were being severely injured, and some were killed. Shane wasn't going to stop the destruction until everyone in the town was dead. Some of the townspeople had an underground shelter to get away from the destruction. Inside the shelter, the people had enough food and water for a year. Desperate for the destruction to end, they talked to Father Thomas, who also was in the underground shelter with them, looking for a solution. Father Thomas kept praying along with the townspeople. Just as all hope seemed lost, a brilliant light pierced the darkness. A figure, radiant and pure, descended from the heavens. It was Archangel Michael. He was sent to confront the devil himself. A fierce battle ensued, the forces of good and evil clashing in a spectacle of power and might. The townspeople watched in terror, their fate hanging in the balance. They were fighting each other for days. But then suddenly, Michael's strength and righteousness eventually overpowered Shane, banishing him from the town and restoring peace. In the aftermath, the town lay in ruins, but the people's spirits were rekindled. They worked together to rebuild, their bond stronger for having faced the darkness. Father Thomas reminded them that evil could only thrive when good people did nothing. Months later, the story of how the devil came to their town became a cautionary tale. a reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath seemingly benign surfaces. The townspeople vowed to remain vigilant, to nurture their community with love and kindness, and to never forget the lesson they had learned, that unity and goodness could triumph over even the darkest of evils. In the years that followed the devil's expulsion, the town flourished in ways it never had before. The scars left by the chaos slowly healed, and a renewed sense of unity bound the community together. They established a tradition of recounting their tale every year, reminding each new generation of the darkness that once threatened their home and the light that ultimately saved them. Father Thomas became a revered figure, not just for his role in confronting Shane, but for his wisdom and guidance in the aftermath. He often spoke of vigilance and compassion, urging his flock to be ever mindful of the subtle ways evil could infiltrate their lives. Under his guidance, the town built a sanctuary on the outskirts, a place where anyone could find solace and support. Martha, the widow who had been deceived by Shane, never lost her soul. She found a new purpose in helping others who felt lost or vulnerable. Her home became a haven for those in need, and her kindness became legendary. The community rallied around her, ensuring she was never alone and that her act of courage in seeking help was honored. The children of the town grew up hearing these stories, knowing that the strength of their community lay in their willingness to stand together. The tale of Michael's divine intervention became a symbol of hope, illustrating that even in the darkest times, there was always a chance for redemption and salvation. Years passed, and the town prospered. Yet, as with all stories of great conflict, there were deeper layers to be explored. The devil's visit had left an indelible mark on the town's collective psyche, and as they delved into the reasons behind Shane's ease of influence, they discovered important truths about human nature. One spring, a young scholar named Emily, inspired by the stories, decided to investigate further. She pored over old records, interviewed the elders, and even traveled to neighboring towns to understand more about the nature of evil and the human heart. Her research revealed patterns, how fear and desperation could be manipulated, how envy and greed could corrode even the strongest bonds. Emily's findings were presented to the town in a series of lectures that drew large crowds. She spoke of the importance of self-awareness and community support, of recognizing the seeds of discord before they could take root. Her words resonated deeply, reinforcing the lessons learned from their harrowing experience. The town also took practical steps to safeguard their future. They established community watch groups, not just for physical safety, but to check in on each other's well-being. Festivals and communal gatherings became more frequent, ensuring that everyone felt included and valued. They implemented educational programs in their school, teaching children about empathy, critical thinking, and the importance of standing up against injustice. As the seasons turned and the years rolled on, the town's story continued to evolve. They faced new challenges, but the memory of the devil's visit remained a powerful reminder of their resilience. Each year, as they gathered to retell the tale, they also celebrated their victories, big and small, over the forces that sought to divide them. The story of the devil's attempt to destroy the town had transformed into a story of human strength, divine intervention, and the unwavering power of community. And in this way, the town thrived, forever vigilant, forever united, a beacon of hope and resilience in a world that often felt dark and uncertain.